ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਮਾਨਸ ਭਰਿਆ ਆਣਿਆ ਮਾਨਸ ਭਰਿਆ ਆਏ, ਜਿਤ ਪੀਤੇ ਮਤ ਦੂਰ ਹੋਏ, ਬਰਲ ਭਵੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ। One person brings a full bottle, another fills his cup. Drinking the wine, his intelligence departs and madness enters his mind. Sounds like a pretty normal session, doesn't it? My name is Amandeep Singh and I am from Crawley. I'm also known as Aman Sandhu. For those of you that know me know that once I start talking I don't generally stop, but when I'm doing a video for Turiya, who I said I would talk about my experiences with alcohol, following some of the posts that they have been putting up, I found it quite difficult to put myself out there and do so. This video has been made not to convince you to quit drinking. I care about those people struggling to quit and those whose families and homes have been destroyed by this nasha, but I have no interest in really telling you what to do. I think we need to become people who tell people how they can help them to do things rather than telling people what they should do. The reason I've got this piece of paper is when you're trying to explain something, you lose track of all the stuff you want to go through. So the point of having the piece of paper, and actually I need to read from it, is the story does get quite long and I can't remember everything here. So please forgive me. So before anyone thinks, who is this holier than thou preacher, I'll just tell you a little bit about my background. I'll tell you about my personal struggles so that those out there trying to quit alcohol know they're not alone, and know that when you can't stop, it's not the end of the world. Know that if you can start drinking again, it means you can stop again. You're not being judged. I will make a separate video about my journey into Sikhi in a bit more detail, but in short, it was my mother who kept my hair since I was young. My dead father was very supportive of that, but he himself had cut hair, and then he kept his afterwards. I've always had a cut beard, but always worn a bug. I only kept my beard about 3 years ago, but I was introduced to basics of Sikhi about 6-7 years ago, and then to kind of the wider Sikh panth in different organisations and Kirtan darbars and talks, and quite recently to Turiya. I'm not an Amritari, but as I said, I kept my beard about 3 years ago, and I would say I quit drinking on the 1st of June 2018, which was just over a month ago. More on that later, so I'll explain that. Drinking in the Punjabi community is a big topic at the moment. We've seen the articles that have been put out on the BBC. There's also been interviews that have been done. There's also been articles on it. For the record, Punjabi does not exclusively mean Sikh. In general, Punjabi, Sikh, Hindu, Muslim, all are known for their lavishness, the Sikhs in particular. Alcohol has become an intrinsic part of that lavishness. This is not a lie, this is a fact. Just look at our wedding receptions. I can just look at my own, and that was over 9 years ago. But other people's, we're seeing it at the moment. We're looking at nights out and pretty much any party that we throw anywhere in the world. Just look at that lavishness, and majority of the time it will involve alcohol. I am not perfect. I am very, very far away from that. I'm one of the biggest sinners running around, and pretty much every putakam out there, I've pretty much done it all. I'm just sharing my journey and where I'm at. When we were young, so where does it begin? When we were young, around 10, my dad would give me a sip of his beer. The same thing happened pretty much across our family. Then we were upgraded to have a sip of the whiskey or a Bacardi shot. Never more than a sip, but that's when the relationship with alcohol started, and it was seen as normal. At 16, I had full-on sessions, all harmless fun with friends. 2 pints would get us tipsy. Third or fourth would possibly a short would mean us being hammered. Again, just harmless, larking about, but nothing serious. Then I got to the legal age, and then there's no stopping us. The quantity consumed was undercover from my parents. They would have thought I've had a beer or two, but a bottle of Bacardi between a couple of friends was normal. More than about 9 later around it. It's actually quite shocking at the speed at which this escalates, because after sixth form comes university, then you have the full freedom and particularly the late nights. I spent more time in the SU than in my class. It's a standard story, walking to lecture, just pass through the SU, boom, let's stay here all afternoon, leading to the evening, and then maybe go out in the evening as well. Again, all standard uni stuff, messing around. I met my future wife at university, so she knew all of my antics. Again, having a beer or two when someone popped round or during the weekday, that was quite rare. I barely touched it during the weekdays. But it was binge drinking that was quite hectic on the weekends. Working life came, which meant I had a bit more money in my pocket. Parents worked early mornings, so that meant that when they went to bed early, every Saturday and every Friday was spent out. Fridays in London after work, and Saturdays in Crawley, this was full-on binge drinking, late nights. Again, juggle parties, weddings, birthdays, you name it, I was the first to be hammered. To me, it wasn't a party until I could dance, and I would only dance when I was drunk. So I was the first one to get hammered every time. All I wanted to do was have fun, but during all of these various phases, the aggression would get worse. The wanting to be a player got worse. The wanting everyone to know me, the big-headedness got worse. I was a bad enough person sober, let alone drunk. I was bigger than most people, I had a large number of friends, and worst of all, I wasn't scared of anyone. So again, the big-headed ego would stick out. I was never a bully, but I could never back down from a challenge, and so would get into physical fights every now and again. My closest friends were never the issue. I was the issue. They would stop me fighting, they would stop me looking, they would look out for me, and they would actually look after me. Marriage meant I changed a bit, but what it really meant is I had someone to highlight how bad I was getting. Again, I hid behind the, you know what I was like before marriage, you were at uni with me, you knew I drank. So I thought nothing of it, and this is all facts, leave me alone, you know what I was like. But the truth is that when she married me around the Jar Lama and not the drunken mess that I would become. Again, it was never Monday to Thursday, only weekends, so again, I thought nothing of it. I don't need to change, I'm a nice guy, I'm a family guy, I love everyone, I'm fine, I just want to have fun, Then came the game changer, so we're at a birthday party with all my friends and their wives in central London. I'm hammered, absolutely trollied. We're outside a venue in London, trying to get home, and some guy shouts my wife's name out from his car window. Main traffic lights on Piccadilly Circus, the roundabout bit. My wife is a tough nut. She does not need me to defend her, and she can deal with any issue herself. Sober me would have made sure she's all right, but I would have let her deal with the situation. But this was drunk, hammered, super aggressive me. So I obviously had her and my honour to uphold. So I walked into the middle of the road, cars were moving all around me. I had to go to grab the guy through his window. I'm trying to open his door and then trying to smash his window, and I'm trying to pull him out through it. There's people sitting in the back of the car. I tell them all to get out, fight me. There's 4, 5 or 1, no problem. Bring it on. My friends stop me and they're dragging me away, pull me away. My wife refuses to talk to me. None of my bubby are talking to me. Everyone's just stopped. Everyone's thinking, you absolute prat. My wife is ashamed of me at this point. It's a big word, that is, ashamed. The next day, hung over me. I'm getting the guilt trip, the silent treatment, but it's okay. I'm a nice guy most of the time. It's not the end of the world. She'll get over it. This is minor. It's not the big deal. Is what my view was. Then my wife receives a Facebook message from an old work colleague, and he asks, "Who the hell was that guy with you last night?" My aunt and my uncle were so scared because of what he did. She didn't reply. How could she reply to him saying that amazing guy last night was her amazing husband? Even then, this episode didn't stop me. I probably stopped for about 3 months, 4 months, and then I'd stop, I'd start again, I'd stop, I'd start again, and then I'd say, look, for 3 months I've got it all under control, followed by 3 months of making up for lost time, and this went on for a while, back and forth, all the whole time I was still getting into the Sikhi scene, I was still into videos and listening to basics of Sikhi and stuff. I was doing a lot of reading, so I was still on the Sikhi path, but the drink was very heavy. Then there was a shabad that I'd been told about from my friend. Now I'm not an Amritari, my part is, at best is sporadic, but I was trying. So these words never left me. The words that I said at the beginning, Manas Parya Anya, Manas Parya Aye, Jit Bite Mat Dur Hoye, Paral Pave Vich Aye. I've listened to a lot of shabads, I've said that I love them and then I've forgotten them. That one never did. It carried on for a long, long time, and it to this day has never left me. What happened after this kind of period of on and off, my first child was born. Now we're blessed with a daughter, and she's my absolute life. It was around when she turned 1 that my wife sort of said to me. She's like, imagine if she sees you the way you behave when you're drunk. And then she pretty much set an ultimatum and said, whenever I drink, I am not allowed to hold her. Plain and simple, I'm not allowed to hold her. Not allowed to hold the baby girl. And I knew that if I got drunk and I wanted to hold my kid and my wife would say no, I knew I'd have gone crazy and I would have got very, very angry. And so I had to agree to her ultimatum. Even then, I still hadn't stopped, but the cutting back began. Then I kept my daddy. It was only then that the real and tangible stopping, kind of really began, because at that point I was like, I can't have a whiskey glass in my hand and drink with having the daddy. Before it was okay, I was into Sikhi, but I could still drink. I had a cut daddy, I'd do what I wanted. And so I would reason to myself, but then when the daddy came through, I was like, okay, hold on, I need to stop now. I can't look like that. If I'm going to walk on the path of the saints, then I can't carry on with that with a pint in my hand. So I had to make a choice, and then I would still have the odd beer, I'd still have the odd drink, I'd go sip of someone's whiskey, sip of this, and then what started to happen is I would puke in the morning. So again, me drinking loads and puking in the night never happened, it always happened in the morning. So I never thought anything of it. But if I was only having the odd sip, one glass of whiskey, I was waking up, throwing up, every time. Then I remembered a story from when we went to one of the Sikhi camps a few years back. And the guy said, if you ask the Guru to help you, he will. He'll give you a sign, and he'll help you with exactly what you need. So I'd have a couple of drinks, I'd feel sober, completely sober, go to bed, wake up in the morning and I'd puke, and it would escalate a bit more. My stomach would hurt 1 day, 2, 3 days. I would be out after having just a couple of sips. And then I was like, the body's not recovering as fast. So it was a real tough period, and it was tough on everybody, but because I was practically sober, I still couldn't quite bring myself to say, I have quit. I found it so difficult. I miss beer like there was no tomorrow. Even now there's times where I've spoken about it, but beer was like the big deal. The bucky less so. But once I started to cut back, I started to lose weight. I started getting really fit. I started playing football twice a week. I was Thai boxing, I was gymming, I was playing with the kids. I was waking up feeling absolutely fine and never getting the groggy feeling. None of that's coming back. Not feeling in a daze. And the main part of this is my wife's support was amazing. We'd moved out from my parents' house, so they knew of it, but they weren't involved as such. But my wife's support was huge. But my parents and my wife, my sister noticed quite a lot of big change. And my friends and my cousins, they found it very odd, and they found it difficult. I know they did at the start, but more importantly, they understood what I was doing, and they began to help me. The Lala Glasi, that stopped. That part of it stopped, and they understood what I was doing, and I'd be with them still. But they would never force me to drink. One of the main reasons I felt what we drink is a great leveler. It practically makes anything fun. Anything that's boring, it makes it fun. If you're bored, it's great to drink. The devil makes work for idle hands. This is not Gurbani per se, but makes absolutely perfect sense. You literally cannot let yourself get bored, because you get bored, your brain will tell you, it will convince you your decision is wrong. It will convince you that shutting everyone off, I'm not talking about bad sangat, get rid of bad sangat, man, they're a waste of time, but your good sangat, whether they drink or not, if you cut everybody out and say, I'm just going to stick to myself, you will get bored and you will be depressed and you will think, I was better when I used to drink. That is guaranteed to happen. You cannot do that. Get out there, play football, go swimming, go cycling, get fit, do a hobby, start reading, do those things that really interest you, and get your friends to come around and do those as well. And you don't have to have everything to be around alcohol. That's something that I discovered quite quickly. My best friends do continue to drink. I just make sure my activities with them at the start did not include the temptation of alcohol, because my willpower is crap, absolute rubbish. It was only when my own willpower, forget them, it was not their problem, but my willpower was so weak that I wouldn't do stuff with them that involved alcohol. But now, if they drink, it doesn't bother me. You carry on, do what you want. If we want to have a conversation about alcohol, we can have that conversation. But them drinking does not tempt me to drink. I was quite happy with my sparkling water, so I found my fix. I found finding something to hold. So at the start, I used to have a pint glass, very much like an ex-smoker. They sometimes have to have a pencil or something in their hand. that they're flicking around. You know, the vapes is one of the big things now, but with myself it was having a pint glass of water or juice, and you know, just having that aspect of that at a party. You can't drink that much juice, you can't drink that much alcohol, Coke, sorry, lemonade. I tried the non-alcoholic beers, the non-alcoholic ciders. I've done it all. It honestly is a complete waste of time. If it helps you, try it. I mean, anything to get you away from the actual alcohol, but that's something that I found was a bit of a waste. It kind of would set me back. It sounds terrible, but if you're going to have a non-alcoholic beer, you might as well just have the normal one. You're basically doing the same thing. It's rubbish. But if it helps you get through that hard period, then whatever suits you. But mine's sparkling water and tonic water with a lime and some ice. But I tried everything. I just stick to water now. But to kind of summarise, my guru really helped me through it all. I could not be happier. I have a good job. I have a good 3-bed, semi-detached, absolute bog standard house, a decent car. Nothing special at all, but to me, I live in a palace. I live in a castle. I'm trying to be more and more content with what I have. I'm proud and grateful for everything that I've been given. I have no money worries, and trust me and my family, we've had a lot of money worries in the past, but I don't have them anymore. My Guru's given me everything, absolutely everything. I have a community, a Crawley community that at times drives me absolutely mad, but it is one that I absolutely love. And I have a loving and supportive family with 2 daughters that I absolutely adore, and they adore me. So there's nothing more important than them two. But I've been absolutely blessed by my Guru. His grace is all I need to have a prosperous life, and I hope I can live up to my Guru's expectations. I'm fall very short at the moment, but one step at a time. I hope this video helps out my brothers and sisters out there, anybody that needs it. But it's simply me telling my story and the issues. You're not alone. Park your issues to a side. Park the perfection. Park the, oh, should I not serve alcohol? Should I not do this? Don't worry about that. You want to change the world? Start with changing yourself. Focus on yourself. Work on yourself. And you'll realise that everything then suddenly around you will start to change as well. What I've said to Turiya is, if anybody would like to talk to me about their alcohol issues, I'm not a mental health professional, I'm not a pracharak, I'm not anything along those lines, I'm not even an amritari, but I'm trying, and if I can help anybody in any way you want to talk, then please do. As I said, I'm not qualified to do something like that, but I can talk quite a lot. So please feel free to do that and direct message them, and they'll give you my number. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.